In a quiet morning at a grocery store, a manager publicly shames a teen cashier when an unhoused man tries to buy a hot chicken with EBT. A night shift nurse steps in, pays for the food and extras at personal cost, and stands firm through the awkward stares and a buzzing hospital call. The act loosens the room, prompts small policy shifts, and quietly reveals the burdens each person carries without announcing them. Just a quick note before we begin: hit like, share this with a friend, and subscribe for more. Also, let me know in the comments which country you're watching from. It always amazes me how far these stories travel. The store smelled like floor wax and oranges. He scanned quietly, like he was trying not to wake the morning. His name tag said Lewis in thin blue letters. He kept his shoulders rounded, like he didn't want to take up space. His hands were dry from sanitizer and the winter heat. He moved fast but soft, sliding cans and bread, tapping codes for produce without looking up. A woman with a stroller rolled up. The baby's sock was half off. The woman dug for coupons with one hand and bounced the stroller with the other. He found the barcode for her coffee and waited while she fixed the sock. It felt like nothing, but she met his eyes and said, "Thanks," and he nodded like it wasn't much. The line grew while the radio played a happy song that nobody felt. The lights were too bright for the hour. The floor shined. A kid in a hoodie counted singles. A guy in a neon vest yawned behind his mask. Somewhere, a cartwheel squeaked. A man with a grey beard set a hot rotisserie chicken on the belt. He had a worn green coat and a hospital bracelet, half tucked under his sleeve. He placed the chicken like it mattered where it sat. He held his EBT card in his other hand and kept his eyes down. The register beeped hard, the kind of beep that calls a manager. The screen flashed red. The boy cashier's finger hovered. He knew the beep. Everyone did. Hot food. Not covered. He glanced up for help, then back down, like he didn't want to involve anyone. The manager in the red tie stepped in like a whistle blown, clipboard against his chest. Jaw set. He spoke too loud for the small space. The aisle went tight. Heads bowed as if that made them invisible. The man with the chicken pulled his sleeve down over the bracelet. The boy cashier looked at the keys he already knew by heart. It wasn't his rule. It was the rule. Policy, the manager said, rubbing his forehead. You can't buy hot food with EBT. It has to be cold. You can get a cold chicken from the back. That one's not allowed. He sighed like he was tired of this, and also like someone was watching his numbers. The man with the chicken nodded. He reached for the container, and then didn't. The lid had fogged, and the warm smell drifted up. He set it aside, slow, like it weighed more, now that he couldn't have it. The woman in scrubs moved before she thought. She had a hospital badge that she had flipped backward, navy pants wrinkled from hours, a coffee cup in one hand, a list tucked in her pocket. Her mouth softened. She stepped up to the belt. "Put it on mine," she said, setting down her coffee. Her voice was even, not a fight voice. She reached for the chicken, like she had done this 100 times, like she would keep it from cooling just by being steady. She added socks, water, and a deli sandwich to the pile. "Cold chicken too," she said, glancing at the boy. "He can use his card for that, right?" The boy nodded. He found the code for the cold rotisserie they kept in the case for days like this. His hands moved faster. He bagged the water. He tried not to look at the manager. Her phone buzzed with a hospital number, and she let it buzz out. The line shifted behind her, a few sighs, a shoe tapping. The manager opened his mouth. She met his eyes and shook her head once more. "Ring it," she said. "Please." The boy did. He watched the total climb with his stomach. She pulled a card from a wallet with a cracked edge. She held the card out and waited. The screen spun longer than usual. She didn't look down to check her balance. She stared at the man with the chicken like he was the only person in the store. The screen finally peeped green. The manager watched, then looked away, like the floor needed him more. He clicked his pen like it was the answer to something. The air around his tie felt less sharp. He stepped back and made a note on the clipboard that didn't need a note. The air eased, like someone opened a window you forgot was there. The woman with the stroller breathed. The kid in the hoodie stopped counting and just held his money. The boy cashier's shoulders lowered. He slid the bag across without a speech. The man with the chicken took the warm bag and the cold one too. He did not say a big thank you. He said okay, like someone had finally said yes to him, and he didn't know how to hold it. His eyes shone, but he kept his voice normal. The woman in scrubs picked up her coffee and paid for her own small things. She didn't look back to see if anyone was watching. Outside, the morning had that pale winter light that shows the dents in everything. Her breath made a cloud. A bus hissed past the stop at the end of the lot. She checked the time, cringed, tucked her chin into her collar. She walked anyway. Her calves ached. Her back reminded her she had been lifting people all night. Her list in her pocket was for things she wasn't going to get today. Back in the break room, the cashier sat with a GED book and a bruised apple. The pages had highlighter marks in 3 colors. He chewed slow and looked at a page on ratios. His phone screen was cracked, and a text from his sister sat unread. "Can you walk me after school? Mom, late." He rubbed the bridge of his nose and flipped the page. He stuck the apple sticker on the inside cover. When he was done, the man with the chicken sat on the bus bench and peeled off a hospital bracelet. It snapped, and he took it like a small goodbye. He tucked it into his coat pocket, next to a folded paper with discharge instructions he could not read well. The warm bag sat on his knees. Steam found the cold air. He gave a drumstick to a guy on the other end of the bench, who looked surprised and then tried to hide it. 2 days later, a paper sign went up by the hot case with crooked tape. "Ask US for a cold option," it said. "EBT. Okay. On cold items." The letters leaned like someone wrote them fast. The manager stood with a roll of tape and an awkward smile. He turned the sign straight, stepped back, and straightened it again. The woman with the stroller came back and left a pack of socks at the desk. "For anybody," she told the clerk, who was new and confused. The pack was thick, white, cheap, and warm. The clerk found a Sharpie and wrote, "Free if you need." Someone slid the pack under the counter like a secret. The cashier started keeping forks and napkins under his register, just in case. He also kept a little list by the scale of low-cost cold things. Tuna, bread, apples, hard-boiled eggs. When a card beeped red now, he offered the list before anyone had to say no. Sometimes people took it. Sometimes they didn't. But he looked up more when he spoke. The woman in scrubs slept hard and woke to a sink of dishes and a note. The note was on a damp paper towel, half-soaked. "I did them," it read. It had a heart drawn in the corner. She found the sink empty and her son's backpack zipped for once. She sat on a chair at the small table and counted the money in her wallet with her mouth closed. She had enough. Maybe not for everything, but for enough. Small things changed the air, like lemon in water you thought was plain. The manager learned to say "good catch" when the boy swapped hot for cold without drama. The kid in the hoodie saw the socks under the counter and came back with a box of granola bars the next day. No note. People still rushed and snapped. The radio still played songs that didn't fit the hour, but a thin layer of better sat on top of the place now. By the front doors, a paper bag with a dark grease spot sat warm in 2 hands. The man with the grey beard held it with care. Sun came through the glass and lit the steam. Cars coughed awake in the lot. Inside, the boy at the register looked up and said the next total out loud, clear, like he wanted to be heard.